I review kicks and style. I talk about fashion. You can see my sewing machine back here. My office is in a little bit of a disarray right now. I got to get it all cleaned up because I'm going through a purge. But what most people don't realize about me is I am a massive, massive Star Wars fan. And there are very few things that can dull my love of Star Wars. Just because I came about it with the original trilogy. And, I find redeeming qualities in all of it, to tell you the truth. People beef about how they're being made now. But the truth is, the early ones were just as cheesy. It's sci-fi. Get over yourselves. So, recently they opened up the theme park at Disney called Galaxy's Edge, which is a Star Wars themed world, total immersive world. And that's dope. And I love Disneyland. I've been several times as a kid and young adult. But in my later adult life, it has been a long time since I've been there. And that is something that will bring me back to the park. However, I live in the Midwest. I am bullseye, squarely in the middle of the country in Omaha, Nebraska. So the truth is, the chances of me getting to Galaxy's Edge anytime soon are slim to none. Enter the interwebs and the community of Star Wars people out there who are sharing the same passion and willing to help each other out. I recently reached out to a person. He knows who he is. Thanks so much. I won't say his name right now because I don't want him to get in trouble, just in case there is a problem with being able to help those who can't make it to the park. I know some have said they've come under fire as if they are reselling some of the things you can buy, the merchandise you can get in Galaxy's Edge. So I don't want to get him in any trouble, but I do want him to know, thank you so much. I reached out and we connected. That's what this is right here. I'm super, super stoked to get this package all unwrapped and see exactly what my custom Savi saber looks like from Galaxy's Edge, Savi's workshop. I also have an extra kyber crystal that he threw in there. Thanks so much. Oh, that's cool. Got the cards. That's awesome. And then he wrapped up something special for me, so I don't know what it is. He told me that I'd find out when I unpacked it. So I'm really excited to... God, it's already weighty, man. Everybody's been saying that they're hefty. And, I believed them, but still, to get it in hand, I am so excited. I'm so geeked right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show everybody the sketch that I gave him. I gave him very detailed instructions on the build that I wanted. We'll get into that right now. Wow. I'm over the moon. I'm amazed. I have waited so long for this to happen and get here. I've watched the Savi's videos religiously like they're a TV show. I just watch and watch and watch to see people building their own sabers, and I was jealous. And to have this here in my hands right now is incredible. It's weighty. It's definitely quality. And I'll have to show you, I've got plastic sabers. I've got some of the smaller sabers, department store, Target, toy aisle sabers, which are great and they're fun. And my daughter and I love to play with them. But this is something totally different. And wow, I couldn't imagine being in the room and getting emotional over building this. This is incredible. If I'm feeling this way now, the whole immersive experience will probably be that much more. So you can best believe I'm going to do that when it comes time. But the build involved the, I believe it was Peace and Justice saber. I wanted to have more of a gray Jedi feel. So I wanted there to be some light and dark components with it. And so the Peace and Justice saber itself is paired with a red kyber crystal. Now, the extra kyber crystal that I got was purple. It was violet, like Mace Windu. So it balances out. He was kind of a gray Jedi, if you ask me. But anyway, the reveal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal it, show this to you guys, and then I will take it apart and put it back together myself because I would like the opportunity to do the build. So this is my Peace and Justice, what I call Dark Star Saber, because I am going to have the red kyber crystal in a New Republic sort of saber, the look. So very much reminiscent of Obi-Wan and Luke, and Anakin's original saber. But the details are incredible. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to take this build apart and then put it back together myself. It's been a long day. I'm finally back to do the build. I have the pieces and parts laid out, and I'm going to actually show you all the build as I put my saber together. And then what I'm going to do is show you a couple of tips and tricks that I figured out along the way. I'm a DIY type of guy, you know. I like to do my own sewing. I like to tinker and fix things. And so it was pretty easy to see that most of the parts on the saber are locking together based on threaded areas and very slim or very small tolerances. And so if you can mess with the tolerances just a little bit, you can get everything to line up. So I put it together first very loosely to show how everything was lining up. And then as I start to tinker with it, you'll see how I can get everything locked in and lined up perfectly. So let's start. First off is the chassis, okay? So this chassis holds the batteries and the soundboard. Your kyber crystal will go here, okay? It's pretty easy to see. It spring loads and locks in just as you see on most of the videos. You've got your pommel. The pommel that I chose is the one with the black on it. Very nice. You've got your two sleeves, okay? And you can see, I'm not sure if I can get inside there as well. But yeah, right along there, you can see that there's a small threaded area that sits just inside. That's what's going to be grabbing onto the area of the next piece, which is the switch. Okay, so that's your switch covers, your kyber crystal cover, color coded as you see. When these lock together, okay, they form a small edge, a very slight edge. Along that edge is where the sleeves lock in. So I think I figured out a way to get some things to line up. And then of course, your emitter. Okay, the emitter that I chose is very old school, very reminiscent of the Anakin, Luke, Rey saber, all of the above. And I love this one. I love this style. Great little accents on it. And so that's what I chose for that. Of course, I got the pin. I was super stoked that the pin came with it for peace and justice. And it's got some cool little scribes on the back. Got a little bit of Disney embossing, some Arabish on there. Now, I was fortunate enough to actually be able to purchase a purple kyber crystal. And my very gracious contact sent along a green. So I can actually change the color of my saber a couple of times over. I'm super stoked about that. Thank you so much. But of course, my original crystal that came in from the build is a red kyber crystal. See if we can get the focus there for you so you can see that. And I'll show you what happens when you light that up. Of course, the standard, I believe it's a 31-inch blade, LED blade that came with. So let's get to the build. Okay, first up, chassis. Okay, nice and simple. Your kyber crystal is going to sit inside of the chassis right there, that spring-loaded portion. It's a little bit tricky. You gotta get, there we go. Nice, sits right in, locks in place. It should be able to spin freely. You can see the lights are blinking through the window, lets you know what your blade is going to be, the color that your blade is going to light up. So the first thing that we put on is going to be the switch. Now, those pieces, as you've all seen multiple times, those pieces line up red to red. Now, I was watching a few tutorials about how to get things to line up. And the first thing I did was put just a bit of tape. You can use electrical tape or masking tape or anything that's going to take up some space there. See if I can get that to focus in for you. There we go. Okay. So anything that's going to make the width of that just micro thick, just a slight bit thicker. That'll come into play in just a second, so I'll explain that. So let's get the switch locked in, color-coded red and blue. Okay. They magnetize and clip right in place. Nice and secure. All right. Good. We're gonna build from the top down. So we're gonna put the black sleeve on. Now, I call my saber the Dark Star Saber. Again, a play on words because of its gray Jedi status, and I would love for it to have a second sleeve of scrap on the bottom so that both sleeves are black. That's going to be a bit of a find. Right now, the scrap metal is super hard to find. I've been searching. They've changed their policies numerous times, and I only know that because I've been watching lots of tutorial videos and all of that. But you can see that I was able to get it to line up pretty perfectly there by using that trick of the masking tape just inside to change the thickness. Let's go ahead and put the emitter on. As the emitter spins on, don't have to tighten it too much, but it's secure, it's not wobbly, and you can see I'm getting things to line up just about perfectly. There you go, that's the top half. Now let's switch to the bottom. Put that sleeve on. Now, tighten that down, and you can see that it's not quite lining up just right. So I'm gonna mess around with that a little bit. I'll show you in a bit how I'm gonna get that to line up perfectly. But we put the pommel on. You can see that I love that flared black pommel with the D-ring. So I'll be able to clip that on once I get the CoverTech belt clip. Believe me, this is going to the theater with me in December for episode 9. I will be carrying this on me. And so there's my build. Okay, it's beautiful. I love the sort of old trilogy look, you know, that Republic era, not old Republic, but should I say the pre-Galactic Empire look. It's clean, very clean. I was hearing that they were thick and heavy, and I like the weight, but I was hearing that they were unnaturally thick and they didn't feel like lightsabers. This one is actually fairly sleek. And I do love the feel and the fit in hand. It's not too thick. It actually feels like something you would carry and do battle with. It's a perfect feel in hand. I chose that sleeve until I can find my other black sleeve. I love the rubberized grip on that black sleeve, but I do love the feel of that one because it's got some great protruding ribs there. The grip is perfect. Now, I'm gonna show you a little trick on how to get that to line up. Get everything to line up in there. Now, let's lose the pommel for just a second. Okay, so those threads are pretty locked in. You can see on the pommel. But that's not the portion that's causing people the most trouble. As I showed you before, those very slim, there's one track in there. It's a one-track threading that runs in there. So right there, you can see there's pieces that push against for some tension. So it's just a single threaded tension mount that's inside that locks on right there to the switch. Let's see if I can get that to focus for you. There we go. So it locks in on the switch. Really, really super simple. So instead of just twisting harder, instead of using the plumber's tape, which you can use on the more threaded areas to get it to lock in, I decided to try something. Now, I'll preface that by saying a lot of people, because of the expense, are saying, you know, it should just work. It should just be perfect right out of the can. I get that because you are paying for it, but the entire immersive experience is called scrap metal. You know, you're going into Savi's workshop. They're calling it scrap metal. They're scavenging around the galaxy to bring these things back to you. And as a DIY person who loves to tinker and fix on things, and I'm a maker of sorts, I don't have a problem with the small details of trying to make things work. So a little investigation, and this is what took me a bit to get back and record the video, so hence my different shirt and everything. I figured out that, oops, drop that. With that track that sits against the switch, if I were to take a small rasp, just a small rasp file, and gently work that groove to open it up slightly, because it is pretty heavy duty metal, so I can use a file and do multiple rounds of it to not, it won't damage it. It'll just open that groove up, release some of that tension so that I can get it slightly tighter around and line up. You want to take your time, rasp into that groove there, and you can see, let's see if I can line it up so you can see that. Okay, so inside there, I can just take that rasp and file just gently around. Now, the reason I don't mind doing this myself is this is my saber. This is a personal thing. So, of course, there's only so many parts and so many combinations you can make. So, you know, is someone else is going to look similar to yours eventually? Probably. But that doesn't bother me. But the fact that I tinkered with this, I made this myself to get it to fit just right, just perfectly, to me, that's part of the story. To me, that makes it that much more real, so that I can have things work out perfectly the way that I want, the way that fits me. So let's file a little bit around in that groove, open that up a bit. Now, you can just see I'm gently taking the file, the point of that rasp, and opening up that groove just slightly because it is based on tension. So we're gonna see if we can get that locked in. Okay, we're gonna line up, and that's when we do give it a good twist. Oh man, just about perfect. Okay? So if you referred to earlier in the video when it wasn't lined up at all, that slight little bit of tension allowed it to fit just that much more perfectly. So I'm gonna take that piece off, make sure my top piece stays lined up. Okay, that's all lined up. I'm gonna take that piece off just again, ever so gently. I am going to file just a bit more on the part where the most tension hits that switch, okay? And so you can play around with it. Each piece is different. And you can see whether or not you need tape on the switch that would push that tension out a bit, or if you need to work that groove ever so slightly to get it just right and perfect. Boom, good twist, line it all up. Everything's locked in, very good. That's just about perfect. We got it. We got everything lined up perfectly. All the way down through here, down through there, flip it over. Everything is lined up, grooved straight down the center, even with the switch. That's incredible. All right, so we'll get the pommel put back on, and even the pommel lines up. So as I bring that around, there we go. Everything is now lined up perfectly down the center. That is amazing. And so there you have it. That is my Dark Star Saber. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lose these lights a bit, get some low light, and then we're gonna light it up and let you hear each crystal. Oh, I love this. That's so cool. Okay, so you can hear that. Turn the blade, lock it in, and there we go. My lampshade is my Kylo Ren mask because I can control the light that comes through the eyes. Amazing. It's hard to see, but it is very, very purple. That's got a mean buzz going. I love that. It's incredible. It's amazing. Take the blade off there, unlock that. Wow. The entire thing, it's everything I thought it would be. Shouts out. If you've gotten to the end of the video, I'll go ahead and say his name. Thank you so much to SirJames, Gamerfusion. Without your help, I wouldn't have been able to have this experience. So I greatly, greatly appreciate it. You should definitely go check out his channel. Do a search for SirJames. I'll try to provide a link for you. But SirJames, Gamerfusion, he included one of his cards. It's amazing. Great resource when it comes to all things Galaxy's Edge. And you best believe that when I get out to California and finally do get to partake for myself, I'm hoping that he's at the park and we can meet up. This is amazing. It goes beyond words, truly. I wish I could convey just how much this means to me. I'm going to be doing a few more things. We'll open up the channel to doing some Star Wars things, some sci-fi things. I love movies. I love media. So along with the kicks and the style and the fashion, we're gonna be throwing in some more lifestyle stuff like this to just kind of expand and let you into my world a bit. Until then, thank you so much. This has been an amazing experience. Um, I highly suggest, if you don't have one or if you have the ability to get there, go make yourself a Savi Saber. I definitely cannot wait until it's my turn to get out there and make one. So until the next vid, Ridiculous is out. Peace.